Heidi, and I'm here for the third video for the Children Shouldn't Play with Dead Things read-along. I hope you are enjoying the book as much as I am at this point for the second time. Today I'm going to talk about some of the chapters that we read this week, as well as answer some of the questions. And just a reminder for all of you watching, Martina and I are going to do a live show at the end of this read-along. We just figured out how to test it, and so we're really excited to bring that to you guys. So let's start with some of the chapters that we read this week. The first one I want to talk about is actually from last week. It was from chapter 28 last week, and it's when Ember finds that kind of hidden cemetery kind of garden thing. The imagery that Martina put into describing that cemetery was just breathtaking, and I just want to read the part that I really enjoyed. She said, "The grass was overgrown, but it was like the vines and weeds just wouldn't grow there, instead of climbing upwards, covering the surrounding trees and creating a wall surrounding the space. In the center of the clearing, one enormous tree spread its branches across the space, enclosing it against the sun overhead. Huge purple flowers hung heavy from the vines, wrapping around the tree branches, and mushrooms of every conceivable type seemed to thrive around the base of the tree. Everything about this space seemed fantastical, like she was Alice and this was her strange new wonderland. She hesitated. Her magic liked this place, pulsing beneath the surface, but she felt like she was invading, as if she was encroaching on a sacred space." I thought that imagery of the purple flowers and the one tree in the middle was just really pretty, and that's why I wanted to talk about that specific chapter. All right, the next one is from chapter 37, and it's when Mace and Ember were talking about Romero, the dog that she reincarnated, and his poor paw, and she just wants to fix it. And there was a really funny part in here. It wasn't, one of those laugh out loud, roll over and die laughing kind of moments, but it was just one of those where you snicker because you see Ember's humor coming to life. So Ember says, "Is there anything I can do about his paw?" And Mace says, "Our magic deals with the soul, not the body." His lip curled in a sneer. "For that, you need a witch." "I don't have one of those handy." He was quiet for a while, eyes roaming her features. "Technically, you do." So it just kind of made me laugh and giggle a little bit when she was like, "I don't have one of those handy." And then, of course, it brings up the whole talk to your uncle and Mace wanting Ember to get close to him and give him a shot, and that is a whole nother story. But I liked the little bit of humor that Ember started to have in there. So next I want to talk about chapter 39, which was when Quinn and Reese and Kai were walking back to the car after they went through Ember's father's office at the university. And I think this is the point where we really start to see Reese's feelings for Kai come to light. Because at first he was just kind of protective and he always had an eye on him, and we thought, well, maybe someone's just telling him to do this. But it was right after he saw Kai flirt with Eric that he was like, oh, okay, something else is going on here. Reese, you might have feelings for Kai. And it was on that way back to the car when they were talking about the book that Quinn got and the fact that they grabbed it and they have it, even though they know they can't bring it back to Belhaven, and all of these things that are kind of building up. Yet we see Reese and his own struggle with his feelings. And then Kai pulls over to the side of the road and says, "Reese, get out." And they end up going into the forest, and then things happen, and there's a steamy kiss, and then there's lots of steaminess that's happening, and then Tristan has to go and ruin it and break it up. Because really, things were about to happen. And let's be honest, we need a little love in this book. And I thought that that chapter was actually perfect. I think that it's really important for us to look at different relationships, whether you are straight, whether you are gay, whether you are trans, whatever and whoever you are, everyone deserves love, in my opinion. And I thought it was great that we got to see a gay relationship in this book. And that was a steamy chapter, Martina. Steamy chapter. So then we move on to Tristan. When Tristan is talking to Reese when they're back at the house, and she's basically telling him to back off her brother because she's worried that Reese is going to lead him along and string him along and not actually want to start a relationship with him. And so then Reese brings up the point, well, even if I do have feelings for Kai, there's kind of a complication. And Tristan was like, "What?" And Reese is like, "My fiance?" So Reese is betrothed to Selena, and he is kind of struggling, I think, between the fact that he is probably gay, and he also then has to face the fact that he's betrothed to this other woman, and maybe has to tell people that, look, I'm not going to marry this woman, or I don't want to marry this woman, or why do I have to marry this woman? Why can't I choose my own mate in life? Why does it have to be chosen for me? And then they bring up Issa, and Ren and how they're betrothed, but they are actually happy. And then we have the question that Martina asked this week, which was, is Tristan a hypocrite, asking Rhys to back off Kai because she doesn't exactly treat Quinn very well. So should she follow her own advice and maybe back off Quinn if she's not really going to enter a relationship with him? And I thought that was a very great question because sometimes we don't often look at ourselves when we try and tell someone else what to do, and we have to take our own advice. And sometimes we have to kind of back down and humble ourselves a little bit and say, all right, maybe what I'm doing is not exactly right. And maybe when I'm telling someone else to do something, I'm reflecting what I know I have to do onto that person. Then we get to chapter 42, when Ember tries to go see her uncle, and she ends up meeting Astrid and Stella in the room instead. And then things go down, and they're about to harm her, but then Ember gets so mad she develops this orb in her hand. And I thought one of the really funny lines, again, Ember's humor coming to play, was, "This looks dangerous, you might want to run." And I'm sure she had this outward sense of you better run, but then in her head she's like, why is there a flaming ball of magic in my hand? What do I do with this? I don't know what to do. And then her uncle comes in and helps at least a little bit. So I'm kind of feeling okay about her uncle at this point. I'm still hesitant about him because I'm just not sure who his alliance is and if he's really out for Ember or if he's out for the Grove. And I just don't know about him yet. And the last chapter, we get to chapter 44, when Quinn and Kai and Mace are getting in the car to go somewhere. And the reason I want to bring this up is because I have read the book and I know where they're going, and that part is so good. And things happen, and I can't wait for you guys to read it. So get excited because that whole part is just mind-blowing and holy crap. And words cannot express. So I can't wait this week for you guys to get to that part so we can talk about it. Next, I want to do the Kiss, Marry, Kill challenge that Martina put up on Facebook this week. And there were a lot of hard trios to choose from. So I actually chose the easiest one because I think everyone would agree with me, or maybe not everyone, but some people would agree with me when I would say I would kiss Tristan, probably on the cheek, because I'm not such a fan of her. I think that she is a little bit hypocritical, and I think she's a little too hard on Quinn and Kai and on herself. So it wouldn't be romantic at all. It might just be like a kiss on the cheek because I feel bad for you kind of thing. I would totally marry Rhys because he's hot, and I think that he has this brewing just sense of manliness, which is kind of what I like, but then also allows other people to be a leader. And I am such a go-getter and one who likes to do things and do my own thing that I kind of need that in a relationship. And then, of course, we're going to kill Alistair because who wouldn't kill Alistair? Who would marry him? And who would kiss him? So he's obviously the kill. So that was kind of the easy one. That's what I thought for Kiss, Marry, and Kill. And then I want to talk about the teaser, which I'm going to put up here. And that is the monsters we kill think we're the monsters. And these teasers are just making me so excited for book 2. I love the artwork in this with the hand kind of reaching up, all the greens that go along with the cover of the book, and all of the different teasers Martina is putting out. She knows what she's doing. And finally, Martina posted today that one of her author friends is putting her book up, Cursing Fate by Mira Hart, and she is putting her book up for free on Amazon for 5 days. And since I am helping Martina promote her book, I would also like to help promote Martina's friends' books as well. So the cover of it is right up here. Make sure that you go download that from Amazon and get her free book and read that, because it sounds like from the synopsis it's going to be an awesome book to read after this read along. So let me read you the synopsis just in case you missed it. Secret Jones is a witch cursed with a huge amount of power and responsibility. As an emissary of the council, she keeps the peace between the different types of supernatural species that live among humans. Now she has been pulled into a new kind of trouble involving failed assassination attempts and a pack of werewolves. Trying to keep the newest drug, shadow dust, off the streets and finding the source is on her to-do list. Hopefully, she can stay alive long enough to survive the curse that is her only weapon against the chaos. So it sounds like a perfect transition from Martina's. We can read this while we wait for Martina's second book. I hope you all had a wonderful week. I hope you are enjoying the book as much as I am. And I will be back next Saturday with another video. Bye, everyone.